Hello guys, it is me Kylie, welcome back to my channel. So today I set myself a challenge. So I set myself a creator sim and I also set myself a speed build. Now the speed build will be coming up after the CAS and then we'll jump straight on into the speed build. So today is Tuesday here in New Zealand and I'm hoping to get this video up by 3 o'clock. But it's just going on 2:30 now, so it probably will be a little bit later than normal. But anyways, let's just continue on. So I have a very detailed background stories, of course, for these two sims, who they are, all about their history and where they are now in their lives. So the first sim in the household is Elijah. Now, you guys can call him Eli, but he prefers Elijah. Now, Elijah grew up in Oasis Springs, in a very hot desert-like town. A lot of young couples were starting out in life there. There was a lot of entry-level houses. Not so big houses were around at that stage. There was a lot of, small kind of starter homes. So Elijah lived with his parents, and they grew up his parents grew up in Oasis Springs too, so they kind of just stayed put, and they didn't really move around at all. They just stayed in Oasis Springs. They really liked to go on holiday at Granite Falls though. They really loved going there and seeing the beautiful water and go for fishing, and they used to hire out this log cabin for a week, and they used to just go in the Christmas holidays and they would go fishing and go exploring and tramping together. It was a really close-knit family. Now Elijah had no other siblings at all. He was the only child. But of course that did not stop Elijah from loving the outdoors. He always found his one true love in the outdoors, which was collecting things in nature. He loved just being outside. And Elijah had this theory when he was a teenager in high school. He decided that he was eventually going to live under the stars in a beautiful either little log cabin or just a tent, just living in nature and thriving in it, and just going fishing and just seeing the beauty in everything that he possibly could. Now Elijah wanted to just go and move out of home as soon as he could, but his parents told him to stay at home, kind of get some money up his sleeve, and then he could move out when he was ready. And that is exactly what Elijah did. Then he went to university and he studied history, and of course he absolutely was so engrossed in it, and that is when he met his now wife Reyna. Now obviously these two are married now. They've only been married for a couple of years, so they're kind of new to this whole married life thing, but they're really starting to settle down and kind of plan for their future and stuff. Now Elijah does want to have a couple of children. Reyna wants to have 4 or 5 children. She wants to have a really big happy family. So, they are wanting to settle down and make a family hopefully pretty soon. And then of course, Reyna's background story. I need to talk about that. So Reyna kind of grew up totally opposite to Elijah. She didn't have a very good upbringing at all. She actually grew up most of her life in a caravan park with her only friend at that time, her only family at that time was her mother. She grew up not knowing who her father was at all. He was never really around, and he left Reyna's mother when she was born pretty much, and Reyna has never known why he's just up and left when she was born. She's just been told that he's not a very nice person, and he just doesn't want anything to do with her. And of course she's so confused about what she believes now, because when she was in high school her mother treated her really poorly, and she was very controlling of her, didn't let her go out and do anything, was always told to stay at home and help cook and clean, and always it would be the opposite way around. Her mother would go out clubbing, go out just wherever to the local casino, and would come back with tons of money from the pokies. And of course, it was never a life that Reyna wanted for herself. She wanted to go out, and she wanted to just go out with her friends at high school. And, she had a couple of really good friends, and they were actually in a club. And of course, they made a beautiful, kind of like a painting, good girls club type thing where they would paint, do their homework, they'd catch up on assignments together, and that was only Reyna's fun times when she would go out with her two friends to the cafe, and that was the only place that she was allowed to go. And it was really, really sad seeing her so alone. Her friends were never allowed to come around to the caravan park or the place they lived. They moved from pretty much fence post to fence post all the time, so meaning they would move around like whenever it suited Reyna's mother. Just when Reyna was getting sorted into school, they would up and leave to a completely new place, and she would be swept off her feet again trying to settle into another school. So when they actually lived in this caravan park in Windenburg, they pretty much got settled down. Reyna met her two best friends, and then about a year later, when Reyna was studying for her exams, her mother just up and left and said, like, we're moving now. You're leaving that school and you're going to Oasis Springs. Now, the funny thing is, of course, Elijah went to Oasis Springs High School, right? Right. But the thing is, Elijah never really knew of Reyna. He knew who she was and thought that she was just totally strange because she was so quiet all the time and she didn't really speak to anybody. She was very reserved, and of course Elijah did see her a couple of times, and they were in, of course, the same grade at that stage, and of course Elijah just didn't really know who she was, and he would always wonder, who's that girl? Who's that girl with the blonde hair? Because she had blonde, like pretty much blonde, long, curly hair at that stage. And of course, when they met up in university, Reyna looked completely different, and she had dyed hair and she'd wear really funky clothes. And of course, Elijah was very, very similar. It's funny how two people can know each other and like only just know their names, but not who they truly are. And then at a later date in life kind of meet up and go, oh my goodness, you were that girl in high school that I didn't even know, but you were so quiet, you know. And that's the first thing Elijah kind of said to Reyna was, you were so quiet in high school. I never really knew who you were. I knew of you and I saw you. And they didn't have any classes together, so they kind of didn't really get to even talk to each other. But yeah, it's quite funny how two people can kind of meet up in a later point in their life and fall madly in love. And it's just really great. I love this story. I love their little story. It's just very adorable. So now moving on into the speed build. All right, so I've got a few things to kind of explain here. So they started out with, I think, 16,000 or 17,000 simoleons. I'm just guessing. But anyway, so we'll just round it up and say they had 16,000 simoleons. And then they pretty much got a top up of money because Elijah had some savings away from his parents. And I think it was like probably around the 4 or 5 grand mark, which you guys will see me add in a bit later on when I actually run out of money. But I'm going to pipe it up to the fact that Elijah's parents wanted to give him 4 or 5 grand to kind of kickstart them off and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, anyway, so this is their first house together. They decided that they were going to move to Willow Creek. They decided together that they wanted to move to a family-orientated neighborhood, and they wanted to move to a bright, beautiful town, not too big, but not too small. Still got a lot of shopping, malls around, and all that sort of stuff. Now, obviously, these two do not have careers or jobs. They don't have like a playable career or even a non-playable career. They literally live off the land, and what I mean by that is they go fishing, they go harvesting. Reyna paints, and she also wants to get into some writing at a later date. Now these two don't have a computer, so she wants to save up, and that's what they are currently saving for, to buy a fully functioning, amazing computer. Now, growing up, Reyna didn't have a computer, she didn't have a mobile phone, she didn't have any electronics at all. And she wasn't really ever exposed to social media or anything like that, whereas Elijah was the complete opposite. He wrote a blog about his life and about, university at that stage. He obviously has stopped his blog since moving out of university, the dorms and stuff, because Reyna and Elijah do not have internet connection where they live. Their house or the area doesn't have not the area, but the house that they live in doesn't have a internet connection cable, so they need to get that installed, which they're obviously saving up for that. That costs 500 simoleons, and then of course the computer is probably another 500, so they're wanting to save a couple of grand just here and there, and really upgrade the house as well. Start doing some gardening and growing some plants and some flowers and herbs and just fruits. Now these two obviously don't have a job. I think I said that before, but in case I didn't, they don't have careers or playable careers jobs. So they're going to live off the land, and they really want to start eating fruit and, go fishing and really, really living off the land. I think I've said this before. So if we are looking from the front door in, obviously we have on the left side, we have the kitchen. Then I also added in a TV and couch, as well as a dining room, suite area. It's just got 2 chairs and a small little table, but it will do for now. Now, obviously on the right side of the cabin, we have a bedroom and then a little small, tiny bathroom. Now, the bedroom they created and designed themselves. They pretty much had to buy a bed. They had all of the kitchen supplied for them. Like, obviously it was already like a kind of kit set house. They just kind of brought it as it was. It came with the kitchen, it came with the stove. They had to buy their own dining room suite and just all their little furnishings and stuff. Now obviously I'm putting some decor up on the walls, but this totally changes. Obviously I chuck the decor over the cabinets and then over the stove area just to kind of utilize space. I was really struggling with the space that was provided, that I actually chose this small little area, which I actually do extend. I think I extended out in just a quick little moment here because I'm like, oh my goodness, nothing is going to fit. But of course I needed to stick to the brief, which I gave myself a small like cabin, kind of log cabin in the woods, and that's what I wanted to stick to. I wanted to stick to a small house. So then I just kind of chucked the bed over to the side and then kind of just sectioned this room off, which didn't actually work. Now here you can see we're adding in a little bit more money. So I think it was like $4,000 that we got from Elijah's parents. Now Elijah's parents are still alive. They're obviously getting on in age now, and they really want to come over and view the house. They've been over a few times when it wasn't really furnished, but now being a fully furnished little cabin, little area, they want to come and see it fully done. So I'm so excited, guys, because we are literally coming towards the end of the speed build now. We're just kind of just finishing off the few little details here. I'm really happy with the kitchen at this point, but I'm not really happy with the room that I have for the couch. So I decide to literally do a 160, wait, was it 160 or 360? 160? I don't know. I decided to flip it around 90 degrees or whatever and have it on the other wall because it makes totally sense, right? To just kind of utilize that space. Now, obviously, I changed the colors up in the bedroom. It's very kind of dull at the moment. The only exciting thing is the blue wallpaper, which I do change. And yeah, it looks absolutely amazing in the end. I can't wait to show you guys. Oh, this is so good. So yeah, currently Elijah and Reyna are outside just having a smooch on the street. It's so cute. Like, they're just adorable, right? You just gotta love them. So yeah, I'm really happy with this speed build, guys. It's really cute. This is up on the gallery for download now. Now, I did obviously use some CC, so you guys are going to have to select that, but you guys can find it by searching my Oregon ID, which is gamerkylieanne. I'll leave that in the description. Also, if you guys would like to go ahead and leave some comments down below. Would you guys like to see an update, kind of how Reyna and Elijah are doing? Would you like to see a current household on them in the future? I can tell you thus far that they are really happy together, and I can totally see a bright, beautiful future for them and the next generation. I can just see it right now. They're beautiful little kids running around and having a little playground and stuff. Now, obviously, when they have children, they're going to extend the house or possibly move to a little bit bigger house. They're going to actually build it themselves, and they want to create a 2-story log cabin with a fireplace, and that is their long-term goal. But right now, they're just kind of settling down in their new house and just really starting to plan their future. And I'm so excited that Elijah and Reyna are now living in a beautiful house together, and you know, up and onwards from here on for these two, I can totally tell you. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave you guys here. Don't forget to leave some comments down below, rate, comment, and subscribe if you guys would like to, and you haven't already. And I'll see all of you beautiful lovelies in the next video coming really soon. Bye, guys.